in an age of lawlessness and despair. The empire of man lay in ruins, torn asunder by civil war, and racked by famine and plague. Desperate, unscrupulous men deserted the temples of their fathers and gathered in forbidden cults, seeking the favor of the dark gods. And so it was, in the year 2301, that a Kurgan warlord named Asavar Kul united the savage tribes of the Chaos Wastes and made war upon the realms of men. The invaders entered the distant northern kingdom of Kislev and sacked its largest city, Prague. They sacrificed its people to their dark gods, and any who managed to flee were driven into the freezing wilderness. The Empire seemed powerless to stop the Chaos Horde, and many feared that the end of the world was at hand. But in the Empire's darkest hour, a nobleman from the south named Magnus rallied the people of the Empire to resist the invaders, uniting the warring Elector Counts in the process. The Imperial army marched to the rescue of the Kislevite capital, fighting Kul's army in a massive battle outside the city walls. Joined by mighty heroes from all across the land, Magnus defeated Kul in single combat, and the Chaos Horde was scattered to the winds. Blessed by the gods and heralded as the true Emperor, Magnus returned to Nuln in triumph. But even as the old world celebrated Magnus's victory, the dark gods were planning their revenge. All dwarves are delvers in the earth or master smiths. A rare few become engineers, creating wondrous machines from steel, wood, and stone. You have wanted to be an engineer ever since you were a young dwarf, growing up in your father's workshop at Karazakarak. Your father, Gunnar Torkelson, was one of the greatest engineers of his generation, and being his only child, he taught you everything he knew. In time, you helped him design and build some of his greatest feats of engineering. But the life of an engineer was not without risk. Harnessing the power of fire and steam demanded precise craftsmanship and the finest materials. Any error, no matter how slight, could lead to disaster. There was no way to know for certain what had caused the explosion. It could have been any of 1,000 things, but you blamed yourself nonetheless. Though your father would recover, his days as an engineer were likely over. Tormented by shame, you left Karazakarak to seek your fortunes in the old world. It was well known that humans valued dwarf craftsmanship in all its forms, so you traveled to Nuln in hopes of offering your skills to the Empire's famous gunnery school. You arrived in Nuln to find the Imperial throne vacant,
and the Empire in tatters, following a succession of pretenders and centuries of civil war. The gunnery school was but a shadow of its former glory, but the remaining engineers gladly welcomed you into their ranks. Your work at the gunnery school had barely begun when news of the Chaos invasion reached the city. As Magnus of None rallied the people to resist the invaders, you and your fellow engineers readied the Empire's ancient guns for war. At Kislev, the Empire's cannons proved decisive, driving back the Chaos Horde again and again until Magnus and his knights defeated Asavar Kul. You returned to None a hero, lauded by the humans for your courage and skill. Later, when word of your exploits reached Magnus, you were surprised to receive an invitation to join his retinue.
It was an age of lawlessness and despair, a time of dark magic, treachery, and war. It is a night made for witchery and evil deeds, and across the city, guardsmen clutch their weapons tightly and count the hours until the dawn. Sleep is hard to come by on a night such as this. The air is tense, and memories of the battle at Kislev leave you restless and on edge. Suddenly, a peal of thunder shatters the stillness, followed by a howling wind that shakes the tower to its foundations. Foul magic curdles the air, and screams echo in the courtyard outside. The tower is under attack!
What's all that noise? I best go have a look. Ironbeard! We're under attack. They must be after Magnus.
Thanks, Sigma, you're here. There's monsters everywhere. The tower's being overrun.
Not if I've got anything to say about it. Where's Magnus?
Upstairs in the throne room. There's armor in a chest by the stairs. Take whatever you need, but hurry.
As you reach the throne room, the air seethes with foul magics. A Chaos Sorceress stands before the throne, and Magnus, the savior of the Empire, is caught within her spell. There's only one thing to do. Calling upon the spirits of your ancestors, you raise your hammer and charge! By the time you regain your senses, the battle is over. The sorceress is gone, leaving you and Magnus for dead. The shouts of angry men fill the throne room, but these are not guardsmen. They are witch hunters, the Empire's feared inquisitors, led by none other than the infamous Heinrich Voss. You are under arrest for the murder of the Emperor Magnus, Voss declares. You try to tell him about the sorceress, but Voss refuses to listen. I see no sorceress here, he shouts. Only you and a room full of dead men. Confess your crimes, dwarf, Voss threatens.
We will have the truth from you one way or another. After a week in the dungeons, you'll tell me everything I want to know.
But before the witch hunter could make good on his threat, a commanding voice filled the room. Stop this madness at once!
Teclis, lore-master of the High Elves, regards Voss coldly. Kila Gunnarsdottir has told you the truth, he said. It is you who have refused to listen.
Teclis examines Magnus in silence. He lives, thank the gods, the High Elf says at last. But he is in the grip of a powerful curse. It is only a matter of time before he succumbs. No one outside this room must know what happened here. If the people learn that Magnus has fallen, then everything he fought for will have been for nothing. The fate of the Empire lies in our hands. We must find this sorceress and end the curse before it's too late. If Magnus dies, the Empire dies with him.
There are dark and terrible forces at work in the city, Kila Gunnarsdottir. If we are to find the sorceress and defeat her, we must confront the dark cult that has taken root in Nuln and expose its secret master.
What must I do? Tell me, and by my ancestors I'll see it done.
The attack on the tower came from the sewers that stretch beneath the city. So long as the enemy controls the tunnels surrounding the tower, our position here is vulnerable. Your first task is simple. Enter the tunnels and drive the cultists back from the tower. Kill everything in your path, but beware. There is no telling what foul things await you in the darkness.
Nothing that a couple knocks with a hammer won't fix, I reckon. The tunnels surrounding the tower are clear. I killed every cultist I could find, but there's got to be more, deeper in the sewers.
I do not doubt it. The servants of Nurgle flourish in darkness and filth. Our battle against the cult has only just begun. Well done. Return to me when you are ready for your next task. There is grim news from the tower. Voss has learned that a large group of Magnus's guardsmen have gone missing. He believes they might have pursued the cultists into the sewers during the attack.
I should hope so. Any self-respecting dwarf would have done the same. It's a matter of honor.
They've been gone too long, Kila. Either they've gotten lost in the tunnels, or the cultists have cut them off. Someone must go in after them and bring them out.
I need to wait for the pressure to build. I need to wait for the pressure to build. Pressure needs to be stabilised first. My vital signs are weak. I'm out of fuel. To wait for the pressure to build. I'm out of fuel right now.
Forget about me. Find the others.
There is no time to waste. Even as we speak, the cultists could be preparing to sacrifice their captives. If they succeed...
I'll see to it that they don't. You've got my word on it. I'm not feeling well at all right now. Pressure needs to be stabilised first.
I won't forget. You said...
You saved.
Too much pressure. I don't want to explode. I need to wait for the pressure to build. I'm out of fuel right now.
dwarf! May the Lord of Pestilence turn your guts to slime!
Speak when you're spoken to, Goatman, or I'll hammer you flat as beaten tin. Here's your prisoner, Elf Lord. Best of luck getting anything sensible out of him. He's more beast than man.
Leave him here. I'll have the answers I seek, one way or another. Return to me when you are ready. All will be made clear then. Fortune is with us. The Ungor required very little persuasion to turn on his human allies. The creature says the leader of the cult is a man named Friedrich Kessler, and has offered to lead us directly to the cult's shrine, located deep within the sewers.
Is that so? Had a change of heart, did he? He's a beast, man. He can't be trusted.
This has nothing to do with trust. If there is one thing that all followers of Chaos have in common, it's supreme self-interest. They will betray anyone and anything in order to protect themselves. Faced with certain death, the monster will not hesitate to turn on his former friends.
Then what's to stop him doing the same to me?
The prospect of a crushed skull can be very persuasive. Or so I'm told.